What goes up must come down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final week of ESEA Season 28 regular season on Team Fortress TV. My name is Cornpop. Tonight I'll be casting this match with my old friend Marxist, the wonderful producer Drshdwpuppet. It's Ascent versus Velocity tonight, a preview of the first round of playoffs, and two fan favorite teams. Marxist, tell me who's your favorite for tonight.
As far as favorite to win, it's probably Ascent, but I do rather like Velocity just as a team altogether on the whole. So I'm a little torn between that. What are you thinking, Cornpop?
I would echo exactly what you just said. I think Ascent are the favorites to win this one. I don't think it's that cut clear, or clear cut, as the saying actually is. But Velocity has certainly won my heart over in previous seasons. Not to say I dislike Ascent, but I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for them tonight. It shouldn't matter too much in terms of the whole season, because regardless of what happens this match, one of these teams will be second, one of these teams will be third going into playoffs, and of course the four-man playoff bracket, the difference between second and third is almost nothing. So they will just be readying up to fight each other, and it should be a really exciting preview match for what's to come.
Yeah, well, and also while we were chatting it up, because I think time is short, we're probably going to go by very soon because we waited a little while. You mentioned an interesting statistic about these two teams' previous matchups, right?
Yeah, so I look back at the history and how often these teams have gone back and faced each other. The number is 13 times these teams have seen each other in ESEA invites. Now that includes previous versions of names and players, but 13 is the number. 12 times Ascent has won. Only once has Velocity managed to take the win, and only once have they played on Metalworks, and that is our map tonight, and that is the match that Velocity was managed to take down Ascent. I believe that was season 27 or season 26. Season 26, yeah, on Metalworks. 5-1 was the scoreline for Velocity. Hopefully, they're going to be able to keep this up for them. I mean, if they can get a 2-0 record on this match, that'll be great, getting that second seed in the playoffs. But mostly just an ego boost for them. I mean, being able to take Ascent on this match would be great.
Well, and headed into a playoff scenario where you're playing best of threes,
Yeah.
you know which map you want to pick.
Oh, for sure. I'm betting this map, whoever wins it, will not be played in the best of three just because it might get insta-banned. However, if it's really close, maybe not, because whichever team loses could think, all right, we just have to change this one strategy and then we'll be able to win. So we're going to let this map go through. I hope that we see this in the best of three, just because I want to see how that plays out, how teams actually adapt, because obviously there was that match 2 seasons ago, but it's hard to adapt when rosters change so quickly.
Yeah, especially Ascent is a much, much different team. So we'll see how it all breaks down. I think everybody is in the server. No, I'm a liar. Yeah, we are missing one person, and then we should go and have video juegos. This is the last cast for the regular season, right?
So last night there was supposed to be Velocity versus New Godflow, but then that match I was just told is not happening last night. They might reschedule it, or they might just forfeit. So if that happens, if they reschedule that match, then we will likely cover it. So it may or may not be the last cast for the regular season. We're not sure.
All right, just wanted to let the people know that we're about to cap off the regular season. And then usually what happens is there's like a 1-week cooldown break thing. And then we're into those best of threes. So it will be beginning soon.
Oh yes, I hope you like staying up till 6 in the morning, because that's how it goes sometimes with the best of threes, and especially the grand finals, which can be double best of threes. It'll be a good time. But there's some theories that ESEA might be changing up their playoff structure. They might be like a single elimination type thing, because it was noted that 3rd and 4th place in ESEA, I think, get the same prize pool now. So I have no idea if that's been confirmed or not. To my knowledge, it has not been. But that would be a bit of a shame if we saw fewer games in playoffs.
I'm forced to agree with that. Especially because the lower games where like the first loser bracket game is usually one of the most intense, because neither team wants to get 4th. And adding a monetary incentive to that match in particular is nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually that's one of the highlight matches that gets carried out during playoffs. I know, however, that may be the way of things because it used to double elim open playoffs and they don't anymore. So they backed away from that as well.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and find out when playoffs come around. If you watch the cast when that happens, you'll be able to find out then. We'll just be checking the ESEA news website, but still at only 11 players in the server. The players are saying that Jarrett is having some issues with the ESEA, so he's taken a while to get in and to look at some players on the other side of the team. I think the most notable one, or the most recent addition on Ascent, has been Happy Cool, who has just joined in after High Five decided to leave the team. High Five, I think he lost all motivation after Ascent decided they weren't going to go to I-63, they weren't going to go to LAN, and High Five just said, I don't want to play anymore. So they've managed to pick up Happy Cool, who was playing on My Anime List for most of this season and for previous seasons, but My Anime List has died, no longer playing for the rest of the season. So their team's disbanded, and Happy Cool has hopped on over to Ascent. This is his second match on the team. The first one was last week against New Godflow.
Yeah, and our producer Drshdwpuppet described his performance in that game as, quote, godlike. So at least Dr. Drshdwpuppet has an immense amount of confidence in him. So that should be pretty interesting. Hopefully Jarrett gets things sorted out quickly because I think we're going to time this server out soon. So that the routine for that, in case you're not familiar, is they will either fix that by getting a new server, or they'll start the match and immediately pause it. And that'll, if we end up going that route, we'd probably kick it to music again. But if they just decide to switch servers, then at least we'll have a better idea of what our timetable looks like.
Yeah, I would really hope that they don't decide to switch servers, because anytime we get a new server in ESEA, there's that so unlucky chance that we get a broken STV. And at this point, if it's like 30 minutes past the regular start time, the players may not want to change servers a third time just to get the STV issues sorted out. So we were lucky enough, it worked the first time. This time, if we have to go to a second server and it doesn't work, I'm going to be a very sad boy. But yeah, hopefully they'll just either get Jarrett in within the next few minutes, or they'll just start the match and instantly pause it, which is a good way to do things, I think.
Yeah, that's usually what we used to do back in ye olden day. So we'll see what they decide to do. That time is nearly upon us, so a decision will be made shortly. I'm surprised. The discussion must be happening on Steam, because normally the players are talking a lot at this juncture.
Is it 11:30? Is that the time where it happens?
It should go at 11:30.
Okay. So
you get a half an hour to try to get your match together, and if you don't make it, then it just times the server out and assumes it can't be played. Fun fact though, if you're just in a game, like say this won't really ever happen in invite, but if you're in open, and the server times out and you just don't submit a ticket or do anything, the system coin flips a forfeit victory for one of the two teams and just says, see you later, friends.
Ooh. Easy way to get a easy win on a tough opponent that you shouldn't win.
Well, so the issue is, if say you're the number one team in open and you're the 30th team in open, that won't work as a tactic because the first place team will submit a ticket to reschedule.
Yeah, probably.
But if neither team does anything, it just coin flips.
It's a funny quirk of the system.
Yeah, and it'll decide immediately. Like within 20 minutes of the match being over, you'll have a win or a loss added to your record.
I'm hoping that doesn't happen tonight, though, Marxist. As silly as that might be.
I know. But it happened to me one time in my long career, and it was really, really funny.
Did you win?
Because we got the dub.
Nice.
It was great. Because essentially what happened is the other team thought the match was a half hour later, and we knew they could probably beat us, or at least were scared that they could beat us. So we just showed up to the server and said nothing. And then when they logged in, we were just like, oh, what a shame, you know, the server timed out. Guess we can't play today. And then nobody submitted a ticket. And so we just randomly got assigned a coin flip forfeit win.
Wow,
So
Marxist.
that was some pretty scummy stuff, but it worked.
No honor in the ESEA. Was that open?
That would be a correct statement. That was my
No honor
single
in
season
open.
of open.
Yikes. Well, what's our time right now? All right, we got about a minute left, and Jarrett has joined the server. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to have to swap servers or pause the game or anything. He has expressed his dislike of his own computer, and he is readied up. So we're about to go live. I want to say real quick before this happens that this has already been the most successful season Velocity has ever seen. I think if they've ever had a chance to get that second win off of Ascent, could be here. The map is supposedly in their favor. There's a new player on Ascent, and this season's Velocity has proven to be very good compared to previous seasons' records. So I'm gonna give a prediction. You know what? I'm gonna go ballsy. I'm gonna say 5-4 Velocity.
I'm feeling a 4-3 on this map, and it'll be Ascent.
Okay. Well, teams are readied up, so we'll see who ends up right. The first half is starting. Ladies and gentlemen, Velocity Esports taking on Ascent. The map is Metalworks. It's the last week of the regular season of ESEA Season 28. A playoff preview is upon us. Match is live. Green text on the screen. Here they go. Coming up with the first mid-fight now. We'll see who wants to get aggressive and get in first. Lots of binds being spammed in the chat, it seems. So players are taking this serious, start things off. Zayler here a little bit faster than Jarrett. Took a different route, going up top. Taking a little bit more damage as well. Nobody immediately aggressive. Shamu's on the point. And Speedy's jumping in behind as well. Marmalou taking a lot of damage. Has to back off. Speedy coming in for the flank soon. Here they come, collapsing on everybody. Nursey's been separated from her team by quite a lot. Ascent are now completely caught out without their medic, but they're collapsing really well here. They did manage to get the frag on Nursey, but it's now only a 1-on-3. Sky left all alone. She won't be able to make it out alive, and Ascent take the first mid.
Yeah, since I'm not quite sure. I don't want to call him out, but it looked like Marmalou tried to do a really fast skip jump bomb into lobby, and it just didn't happen. Like, maybe his timing was slightly off, or he did that on purpose and just kind of flubbed the jump to stop his forward momentum because he just saw something he didn't like. But that seemed to throw Ascent for a little bit. They were a little hesitant at the start. But then they just collapsed on Velocity because they bunched up in the little doorway at the bottom of lobby, and you can't win mid from down there. So that was it. But we're seeing aggression now. Velocity wants to take this back, fighting out of the alley, doing this about as well as you can, using Jarrett as the battering ram here. Now the soldiers come in, dropping bombs on everybody. Ascent can't do a whole lot. They're going to come in with a counter-aggressive play here from Marmalou, and the scouts move in as well, and now they're all over the med, but I don't think that's going to happen. Speedy will fall, and so will Yite, but that was mostly just a pressure play. Both teams now have Uber, and really, as far as respawns are concerned, Ascent are moving into disadvantageous territory, and they sense that and will back away.
Marmalou going for a quick jump in. Sky's pretty far back though, and Shamu's gonna catch that one out. So with that last play, I think is a little bit too risky for Velocity. They didn't get too punished for it because they did manage to get one pick on an enemy team. But it was really dangerous what they ended up doing. They just took so long to push in. They found an early pick on a Marmalou, but because they took so long, they didn't really have the high ground. They just took a lot of spam. They got really low. They started dropping, and finally they backed off, and Ascent couldn't really follow it up. But that's a little bit worrying, if I'm being honest. Now they've put Boar up on Sniper. The enemy team is going to be aware of that, as they had a spy. I think he was just checking for the off classes, though. So Boar will be called out immediately, and hopefully Ascent will be playing passive to try to counter that.
Yeah, this map is kind of odd, too, with the way Sniper works in this position out on second. Because there is a really great angle for him to get. But it's usually, if he does end up in the angle on the far right side, he's dead. So it's one of those scenarios where either you get somebody peeking a doorway, or you take a really risky play, and the other team doesn't punish you very quickly. It looks like Shamu is going to fall, though, and that puts Velocity in a really tight spot. Speedy is going to take out Marmaloo, though, and that'll even things out just a hair, but that with Boar here, Boar has to get a kill, or they're vulnerable. And there it goes, he gets aim. So that changes the game right there, and Ascent's going to have to run away.
They're still staying here in lobby, putting up a sticky trap. I expect them to back off, as you mentioned, because it is a 4v6 situation, but backing off now, it seems like they're heading back to mid finally. Velocity are rotating in through Valley, and it's been a little bit too late. All of Ascent are back. They're not all fully healed or anything. And Velocity, again, they're kind of taking their time. And I'm not really sure that I like this from them. They've gone a little bit more aggressively. Sure, they still have Boar on Sniper. They were just trying to get him aggressive and get him some angles, but it didn't work out. Marmaloo in the back lines will find the Sniper player. And coming around on Rakuso as well. Hits that rocket. Thrown into the air. Will not be able to survive. Speedy also going down, though. Leaves 3 left alive for Velocity. And somehow they've managed to lose all these players and only getting Marmaloo in return. They have to back off the last.
Yeah, they were really trying to get the God angle for Boar, and it wasn't there, and then they just committed to it for no real reason and got swallowed up. And now we're going to probably, maybe, possibly see an Uber exchange, but I don't think that's in the cards. But Sky has Uber, so the Velocity, you might say, well, they lost second and had to fall back, but they do still have Uber over there, so not all is lost. And they are still a viable defensive threat here.
Yeah, I think we're probably just seeing things slow down at the moment. Ascent nice and happy on second. Velocity sitting on last. 0-0 still on the scoreboard, so nobody's really in a huge rush. They can take their time with this. But Ascent obviously in the better situation here, sitting on second. It looks like Aim's going to jump in. Thought about it, but just threw a rocket up in the sky and backed off. Boar coming up on Sniper once again. He did hit a couple of shots, nothing too meaningful. I feel like last time was more of a negative than a positive. Marmaloo will die, though.
Yeah, Marmaloo, I think, was going to go for a bomb of some kind, but now Yite falls. This map isn't terrible for the two-man sack, especially because Boar is on the Sniper. They actually switch off and pop Uber out. This is hard to do. You've got 8 seconds to kill right now, and Sky is a little exposed. Gonna be able to surf away. Now the counter aggression comes in. Speedy will be taken out by the medic, and Zaylor, Ames, and Marmaloo all fall. So Velocity had their number there, catching out Ascent.
Yeah, that was actually really well executed by Velocity. Again, I was a little worried about the play, but managed to make it work. And even at the end there, shout out to Yite for being able to get one last kill, an unlikely one onto Boar before he got cleaned up, just helping things for his team a little bit. But regardless, Ascent lost the second point, about to lose the middle point. Now they're still trying to spam it out here, and with the kill onto Shamu, a nice pipe from Zaylor. This is going to easily turn things around. Jarrett, so little HP, having to back off. Gets healed up by the medic, and he will be okay, but that was still very scary for him, and because of that, Ascent taking back control of this middle point. They never got it capped off out from underneath them, so Velocity back on the second points, and they do have Uber Charge's advantage, but it's too little to matter.
Yeah, that's a scenario where the team holding mid has such a huge Uber respawn advantage, and so pushing back in there, it's nothing really is going to do. They have a nice counter sack here. Lots of pressure comes down onto Ascent because they were really grouped up, but nobody on Velocity close enough to help their comrade Speedy do anything about that. But yeah, I kind of felt that was coming for Velocity. What they needed there is they needed someone like Aim to come in really fast there and then die. And then you kind of neutralize that respawn advantage. But after Aim took the big sticky to start the fight, he backed up wisely. And that was pretty much the end for Velocity being able to take mid.
Ascent now looking like they might be preparing another sack in of some sort. They're all buffing themselves up over in the valley, ready to go. It's Marmaloo through the choke, though, getting right into the combo, completely clobbered on it. Speedy gets the credit for that one. And you bombed 4 players, you're a little close to the ground. You're taking a whole lot of spam damage in that.
Yeah, and there were scouts right in his face from the moment he hit the air, really. So that was not ever going to have any positive outcome. But now we'll see. They are going to switch Yite onto the Sniper, so they're going to bet on that. The last team that really tried the Sniper, Velocity, had Boar, and they kind of got burnt by it. So we'll see how it works for the team that holds mid in this scenario. I'm still not a huge fan of it, mainly because it's the angles that you can get for the offensive sniper here are even worse. And there is no real god angle that your team can try to get you. You just have to hope somebody peeks you.
I think it's kind of interesting when Ascent are choosing to play Sniper because when they knew that Boar was on Sniper, they chose not to run it after calling it out with a spy. Now that they know Boar is not on Sniper, they're going to pull Yite back out on the class. That shows maybe a little bit of fear and a lot of respect for Boar, one of the best snipers in the game, maybe the best sniper in the game at the moment. He can do crazy things on that class if he's on. Wasn't too crazy early on in this match, so maybe Yite still has a chance if Boar chooses to switch, but at the moment, seems like nothing too exciting is coming out from the Gnome player either.
Yeah, we'll see what Yite can get done here. Oh, 2 headshots go down. There's like a combined 40 health on 2 Velocity players right now. But it doesn't really feel like Ascent is confident enough to really push that. They're just going to extend their sniper. They do have Boar counter-sniping now as well. And he is headed right for the god angle. Takes a shot, gets a headshot, but it wasn't charged at all, so no death results.
He's going to be aiming, and I think he just had a body shot onto Yite. He's a little bit low on health, so Boar already coming back on this class, hitting a couple of shots that he needs to be. A lot of pressure from Velocity as well. You can see taking out Yite, Speedy standing right at the choke, being able to take down a sniper threat so Boar can be completely safe, as now he's the sniper getting aggressive in the situation. Speedy thrown way up in the air as they're getting aggressive back onto this middle point. And again, they're sort of going into Valley, but they're finding a lot of resistance, and they aren't really going to find a whole lot there. Jarrett takes down Marmel in the back lines. Boar again cleaned up by Happy Cool. So next thing, a 5-on-5 now. Shamu very low, and Rakuso not too healthy either. Shamu's hiding. Oh my god, he's on such little HP, but he gets the force regardless. Nurse's going to have to pop, and this is going so well for Velocity, and I have lost a lot of players. Only 3 left alive. It's a difficult spot for what they choose to do. It's a demo, a soldier, and a medic still. Sky's got a Uber charge, and they're going to opt to play it passive, regroup back on last, but I expect to push them into second soon.
Yeah, I think that could have been an occasion for the hero Uber, but they decided to play a little bit safer, mainly because their Uber advantage right now is pretty huge. And the last time they pushed out of last went so well. They do get forced. I don't know, are they going to get anything? Jared is actually going to fall. That hurts quite a bit. We'll see if anything gets in. There's a 1v1 down on the left side between Phelps and company. Velocity Shamu will end up falling. They do cap the point away, but it's essentially an uneven fight in favor of Ascent right now, but it looks like they're actually regrouping. Well, okay. Combo is moving forward. They're in now. They have full Uber as well. So we've got a bomb in here to try to get this force, and Nursey's going to hold it and will not be forced at all, but they haven't capped.
That can be their downfall if they forget about it. Teams have lost last pushes before because they forgot to cap second. Looks like Yite's going to be on it, but Ascent are going a little bit over aggressive, coming in this last point, taking out level 1 gun before it can get built up any further. Ascent's in on the combo. Got to watch out for Speedy though, trying to put some pressure on. And Ascent choosing just to back off because this guy has managed to build the Uber charge up in time. Ascent, we're hoping they would go fast enough to avoid that, but that's not how it ends up going. They lose Marmaloo in the process. That's not at all the push they were looking for, Marxist.
Yeah, they parried that blow pretty well and turned away Ascent, who are now having to play defense. Nice big bomb comes in from Speedy, opens the way for his team, but then they all die. And
oh, and Yite's going to last?
Oh yeah, and there's only 2 players alive at last, and none of them are a medic, so they don't have any health. And Nursey is here. They're going to be on this point, unless something crazy. Oh, and an air shot goes down too for good measure, and that's going to be Ascent going up 1-0. But that was quite a long round. Let's see what the timer says. Yeah, so that was almost a 15-minute round, but it finally comes out for Ascent.
Velocity certainly held their own for a long time before it all came crashing down. Ascent, some flashy plays to close that out between the scouts and soldiers. Now they're coming out to mid-fight number 2. Rakuso getting aggressive over on the crates on the right-hand side. Boar getting up on that point as well. They got to watch out for Ascent bombs. One of them's Marmalou coming right down, looking for Sky. Found one rocket, but not a whole lot of damage. Gonna be backing off. Happy Cool's the first one to get taken down by the stickies of Jarrett and Ascent. A little bit scattered at the moment. They got Marmalou still in the back lines. Everybody else running over to the second point. Boar is on the chase, looking for Zaylor if he can get it, but Zaylor's the one out on top there. Meanwhile, on the back lines of Velocity, it's Shamu versus Marmalou in the 1v1. Rakusa looks like he's gonna be coming back to try to fight that as well, but Marmalou's just getting away.
Yeah, Ascent's mids on this map feel broken in that, like, there's clearly something that they're looking for to happen that their whole strategy is based on, and then it's just not happening. But in the meantime, while I'm pontificating, we've got a counter push here and an Uber. Nurses is going to drop aim and then pop. It's not a huge deal, but they need more kills than this. But they're going to get them. There goes Sky and Jarrett. Everything is okay. Unless somebody goes absolutely gigantic huge, and it looks like they might be there. It's Boar. Boar's got a very uneven fight against Yite now, and he's gonna fall. And there is a soldier on the low ground against a scout. I don't think Speedy is that brave.
No, he fears Yite. He's not going to take that fight, and Ascent will recapture this middle point. Jarrett a little bit over-aggressive. Marmalou's going to pay for it, though, and they will all stay alive, so I'll eat my words. They're okay. And Velocity are actually the ones who are going to be able to hold on to this point. Ascent not able to get the capture off before they ended up dying and running away. So even Uber charges on both sides. A very long and chaotic mid-fight that I guess kind of ended but kept going as it seemed to be. So Velocity in control of the middle point. Even Uber is almost to a T. They're starting to get aggressive at about 60%. Here comes the bomb in from Rakuso. It's just testing things out, though.
Yeah, that exchange we just witnessed was a classic display of the guy who holds mid has the best respawn timer, because Ascent were essentially winning that fight, but then Velocity players just kept showing up, and it's really hard to win a fight when you get a kill, you're beat up, and then some other guy just shows up. So that's essentially all that got Ascent. They are doing something kind of wacky here, though. With a bomb in down the left side, they're going to take away a roamer in for a sack. But that's essentially all that happens. Ascent are going real slow, so I don't think they're doing anything. Marmalou actually is in a hiding spot. He jumped up the vent hole, or whatever you want, the little trap door, and is waiting there. There's nothing going on there right now. And, I mean, Jarrett definitely doesn't know that he's there.
Yeah, it would be... I mean, Velocity might check it, but they have no reason to believe anything is there unless it's just their game sense. But it looks like Speedy will check that, and so they're going to easily clean up on Marmalou. Now, the reason they wanted to check that, be absolutely clear of what's there, is because Boar is now up on Sniper, and he's willing to take some heads off, takes his first shot, doesn't find any kills with it, so... having to back off, and this is now another element that Ascent are going to have to worry about with Boar being on Sniper. You mentioned you didn't really like the aggressive Sniper on this play, or on this point rather, but he's down below at the moment. Yite peeks out, but I feel like Nurse is going to play this smart enough that she's not going to give Boar an angle.
Yeah, and it's just so hard to get that angle where you're going to see anybody, except for just a random peek. And he actually gets it. Aim peeks the door, takes a headshot, takes some spam, and dies. So now you've essentially got a free radical sniper here. But he's being blocked by 3 stickies and no one is helping him. There he goes. He's out. Gonna get beat up and die. So not a whole lot of success there. And that's essentially the end of the sniper saga for Velocity. Ascent are actually pressuring pretty hard here down the alley as well.
Yeah, Marmalou's got a really good position in onto Jarrett, but Jarrett eats an arrow and Marmalou's not fast enough, so he'll die, or he'll get back to his team. Rakuso very, very low, but again, back to his team, not going to end up going down. Or back up on Sniper, likes how it's playing, and I think I agree with that just because this fight doesn't seem to be amounting to anything. Just going to be trading blows back and forth. Nobody can secure anything, so they're going to get back to their own points. And Boar ready to try it again. Hasn't really... I mean, he's hit a lot of shots, but nothing that's been really game-opening for his team so far.
Yeah, and it's just because this map doesn't really feature great angles. There's so much crap in the way of the sniper as well. Yeah, he essentially you're making the job super hard for the sniper because you're gonna have to click on pixels the moment they show themselves from a door, or you're gonna die. The counter push comes out from Ascent. They're going to pop. So now we have a true blue Uber exchange, and they're backing out right now, trying to bait Velocity into chasing after him too deep. And now they're going to re-push. We'll see if it was enough. I don't think either team is extremely confident right now. And Shamu will be the first to fall. That should open things up, but they trade out aim essentially right after. Both of Ascent scouts are playing it very safe right now. However, Marmalou will grab Boar as well, and that means no more scouts at all for Velocity.
Yeah, this has been a great fight so far for Marmalou. Found that first really neat angle onto Boar to be able to get that kill, and then the trade for Speedy, and Speedy was the person who I was going to highlight in that match before he just got taken over by Marmalou. And those two quick frags, Ascent have managed to take control over this second or midpoint once again. And with that, taking control of the map, sending Marmalou in for his third hurrah. Not going to get it, though. A lot of scouts there. Boar's the one who finally finds the click. And Velocity now in a bit of a power position. Even Uber charges, they're going to throw Rakuso in very deep, going all the way around the map. He's trying to get in behind, and he looks like he's managed to do it.
Yeah, and he's going for that long flank because he's all the way on second, essentially. Marmalou has respawned back there. And essentially we're going to have roamer on roamer violence in the backlines, but they've also sent a scout. So if you're Velocity and you want to push, there's a great opportunity to do it right now. And actually, they recall that scout seeking it. Marmalou, though, he's gonna drop on Rakuso and grab him. Rakuso was moving up. I'm not really sure why he didn't try to engage there to bait out a push, but it just didn't happen. More trading happens as well as Boar falls to Yite. Ascent are rolling in here. Marmalou, though, and Yite also are all going to die. Phelps is down below, going to die as well. Kind of overstaying their welcome.
You know, I was about to compliment Aim's timing, or Yite's timing, as he ran in and got a really good opening frag, but then he just walked straight into a soldier rocket, and it's all gone away now. Looks like this middle point is likely going in favor of Velocity eSports. There it goes, getting capped off 100% from both teams. Ascent don't want to try to challenge that. They've got everybody up and alive now, sitting on second, though, so they shouldn't be too concerned about losing anymore at the moment. But middle point traded hands once again. Velocity back in control of the map. And with this, I mean, the time is ticking down, Marxist. There's not a whole lot of it left. It's been two very long and drawn-out rounds. So sitting on second might not be too bad for Ascent, despite the fact that they're already ahead by one.
Yeah, and another thing that's really interesting to me is that during a lot of these exchanges, both teams have Uber and they choose not to use it. Despite like half or more of their team dying for whatever it is they're trying to do. We do see a sack come in from Rakuso. Ascent are actually on the move. They're ready to go for that, seeing if they can get any frags or see anything of note out here. It doesn't look like it. But they're staying in. I mean, the ground is given to them, so they may as well occupy it for now.
Marmalou thrown way up in the air. A really nice serve. Able to live. Shamu eats a pipe from Zaylor, though, and that suddenly puts numbers in favor of Ascent. Might be able to capitalize on that even more as Speedy gets thrown all the way back, and Ascent not letting up with the pressure. I like this. Gotta watch out for Yite, getting a little bit low as he's fighting Rakuso, but here comes the bombs in from the soldiers. Gonna be cleaning up on a lot of damage. Now the pop has come out from Sky, but really, they don't know where any of the players are. They're having to track people down. Nurse's Uber comes out way later, and Sky's having to get out to her. Demoman Jarrett not gonna be able to happen, though. Boar and Rakuso both getting cleaned up as well at the same time. So that's just Jarrett and Shamu left alive. I don't even know where they are. They're all the way back on second already. Shamu trying to fight for his life. Will be able to make it back. Still fighting with that, be cool. But yeah, he's going to be okay. Ascent have dominantly taken that fight.
Yeah, Velocity just did their reenactment of Star Wars: A New Hope. The scene where they're going for to shoot the torpedoes down the hull of the Death Star, and the commander keeps saying, "Stay on target." So Velocity were just locked on target there and didn't notice that Ascent was all over them and killed their whole team.
Absolutely, Marxist. And now Ascent have been rewarded with a huge Ubercharge advantage. Well, 40%. They can do a lot of work with that. I expect them to use it to push in this last point. Shamu expecting it as well, building that gun up. It is currently level 2. Pretty much out in the open, but it'll eat some spam before it goes down. Hopefully he can keep it alive for a little while. Doesn't look like he's even going to bother upgrading it. He just wants to switch off the scout as soon as he can. Ignore it for a while, but thankfully Zayler will take it down. Happy Cool just rushing towards that spawn. Shamu does get cleaned up by the demo man after his sentry gun does. After switching classes as well. A lot of time on point from Happy Cool. They're going to juggle the soldiers up in the air. Speedy's trying to stop it now, but it's not going to be enough. 2-0 for Ascent.
Yeah, and that's a heartbreaker for Velocity there because they were so close to just timing it out. And they could have won that several times. Yeah, we have about 6 minutes left in this half. So, I mean, feasibly, rounds could still go down in that time, but both teams are playing this map so slow, I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, we're going to need to see something drastic on this midpoint if that is to happen. It's got to be a complete wipe for one team, or not complete wipe, but just more dominant than it has been for one team or the other. It looks like Ascent are getting more aggressive, but Speedy has been the lone bomber for his team. Marble will be the first one to go down to Shamu to try to get aggressive soldier play. Speedy very little HP thrown way up in the air, will crater as he tries to fall. A lot of aggression from Velocity. They're pushing Ascent so far out, but they're losing players because of it. They've just dropped Boar after Speedy, and now Ascent are having time to push back in, but Velocity has some positioning advantage with a nice arrow onto Rakuso. Sky will keep him alive, and suddenly we're in a 3-on-3 situation. AIM getting aggressive onto the point, throwing Rakuso back. Velocity are a little bit more scared with only a demo man and a soldier. They can't really contest with the soldier and scout combo of Ascent. They're gonna have to back off, give Ascent the mid, but it's not that domination mid we were looking for.
Yeah, one of the basic fundamentals of mid fights is that essentially you don't have to care about a whole lot other than when your medic dies relative to the other team's medic. But if you can choose, you want to be the team with the last scout standing because it's a huge advantage in small player scenarios. And continuing off their momentum, Ascent just push in and kill 2. They're going to get 3 here. Yeah, there's 3 on Speedy. And they just roll up in the spot, kill Velocity. Now, again, bafflingly, Sky had Uber for that, but they chose to just die instead. So we'll see what happens.
I'm really not sure why Velocity managed to lose 3 players. It happened in just a blink of an eye, and it should have been an even stalemated situation that we saw all game, but I think it might be getting into Velocity's head. They're already down 2-0. That last round, as you mentioned, was a bit of a heartbreaker for them, so morale can't be the highest it's ever been for this team, and now they're looking a little bit scared, sitting back on last for the 3rd time, potentially the final time this half. They aren't able to break it out in a sense. I mean, 6 minutes isn't a long time in context of this match, but in context of TF2, in context of time to push last, 6 minutes is probably down to about, I don't know, 4 minutes now, 5 minutes. That's quite a bit of time.
Yeah, you figure you're gonna see a push every 30 seconds. Give or take. It's gonna be a little longer than that in actual practice. But yeah, so we're gonna see probably somewhere in the ballpark of 6.5 pushes in that time frame. So Velocity are gonna have to move out of here in all likelihood. And so far they're dealing very well with a 3-man sack. They're trying to bait Velocity out here, use the Uber to block 2, and then finish them. So this is like going for reverse picks.
Well, they are choosing to pop the Ubercharge off now. They get a quick force out of Nursey as well from Shamu. They do lose Jarrett in the back lines. Happy Cool is able to push forward and get that one. And it's going to end a little bit sooner for Velocity, putting a lot of trouble for Speedy and Rakuso. Boar in the back lines looking a little bit trapped as well. But if he can find Nursey here, no, Nursey will be the one to come out on top. And it's just Sky and Shamu left alive. Marmaloo's behind them. They can't retreat. Sky's trying to juke and jive. Won't happen for Shamu. The last player left alive. Shot down by Happy Cool. The point's going to get capped off. It's 3-0 Ascent in the half.
So the 3-man reverse sack did work. I would like to point that out.
Yes, it did.
They did something, and Velocity pushed out with the 3-man advantage, and then oversold it and lost the round, as per designed by Ascent.
No, that last round was just played really, really well by Ascent. I think they kind of got in the heads of Velocity eSports. They sort of knew what they were doing. That shows the experience of a team like Ascent. They've been around for so long. Obviously, different players, especially this season. from what we're used to maybe, but still really well done by them. I'm pulling up the stats on my screen now. I'm not sure if the stream can see it. Low damage numbers all around. That's not too surprising based off what I just watched. And not too high on the frags either, but noticeably higher across the board for Ascent.
Yeah, so we'll go King Fragger. These numbers are going to be great. Is Phelps with 16. So that's not a huge amount considering we just played almost 30 minutes of TF2.
Nope.
I would almost just think that these stats are wrong. But whatever, I'll take it. Because here's an interesting statistic. There are several players on Ascent right now that have less than 5 deaths, despite having played nearly 30 minutes of game. And Nursey has 2, Phelps the Scout has 3, and Zaylor the Demo has 4. There is a similar anomaly in that Jarrett and Sky are both under at 6 as well. So not a high frag game. They essentially just have positional fights, and then the team with the crappier position just pieces out.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we've been seeing. It hasn't been a whole lot of high action frag movie potential shots. It's mostly been a lot of kind of tactics, take your time, slow and steady. But those depth differences between the teams is sort of indicative of the whole story. But we're going live in the second half. They don't want to wait too long. Get it done with. It was a long first half. Players want to get this going. So it is 3-0 leading for Ascent. Lost to eSports. Got to pull something back if they want to still win this game and come out on top in this rivalry. Metalworks mid coming up now. Jarrett getting here a little bit faster than Zaylor. Ready to put some hurt down for his team. Yite walking across the point now. Getting a little bit of point time, but not really what he's going for. Happy Cool as well, jumping up on top of the point. A little bit more passive from Velocity. There's a nice rocket from Rakuso, but they've lost 2 in the process. 3, 4, 5. Oh no, Rakuso, last person left alive. That was a disaster.
I'll tell you what went wrong there, and this is going to sound really stupid. So, Shamu comes out to mid like a gangbuster. Alright, Shamu clearly is meant to gain position for his team so as to enable their soldiers to jump. Shamu eats a very unfortunate pipe, and as a result has to turn around and get a health pack. And from that point on, the entire mid of Velocity was stand there and argue about what to do, and then they got blown up.
Now they're about to get blown up again if they can't provide a strong defense, but with Boron Pyro and that Sentry Gun living for so long, that might be what they're about to pull off. Now Zaylor did end up going down right at the start of that push, so it's not all great for Ascent. In fact, it's pretty much nothing great for them. They're easily backing off to the second point, and Velocity have managed to hold.
Yeah, they got put on blast there. And so Velocity now, Velocity minus in forgiveness of that 3-man reverse pick, they have been pretty good about pushing out here, but they're not putting time on the point. The curse for them is that they have crappy respawn times, yeah, and now they're going to lose Jarrett. If you push out to second, you have got to cap. And if you're not going to put immediate time on the point, then you have no business being there. Because here's all of Ascent.
And again, you can see Yite taking some positional advantage, not getting any kills, but just putting on the hurt. They do lose 3 players, though, speeding the back lines with the kill onto Nursey, and that's going to be quite a lucky shot by their team. But look at Yite again finding the positioning. Now there are 2 back at last, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Finally gets cleaned up by Shamu. But that was only Zaylor living throughout that entire fight. And of course, that's the point getting back in favor of Velocity. So this is the momentum. They need to keep it up, but they don't have any ubercharge advantage to speak of at the moment.
Yeah, they're going to have to make a move here at some point. If you're Ascent, I would just park the bus here. Like, make them wait about 10 minutes to push off a second. Because you've got 2 rounds to give. So why not burn a third of the remaining time?
And we've seen stall plays work really, really well. It doesn't seem like either team has been too excited to get aggressive and make risky plays if they can just test the waters and pull back if anything goes wrong. They've both shown that they're more than willing to play like that. So That could definitely be a valid strategy for Ascent if they want to play it like that. The other argument would be that you win if you reach 5, so you may as well push, try to get that 4th one on the board, and then you're 1 round away from winning. So I don't think there's a wrong answer for what to do for Ascent. Certainly, I would hope they push, but that's just me as a spectator wanting them to go. Marmalou wants to go, got a really early rocket on the sky, and able to follow that up with Jarrett going down. That's been pretty well for them. They do lose 2 players. Yite walked in as well and ended up dying, but no demo in the field is a good goal to have.
Yeah, in yonder world of TF2, they're actually going to push in. Yeah, that's what I like to see, is you could still go in off of that, and they're actually going to have Speedy trapped here. Sky is under pressure, and yeah, Ascent are going to start falling there. They get trapped up in that doorway, take big damage from a bomb, and then just get eaten alive by scatter shots. So that was... I was gonna say, in the old days of TF2, when Demo was sort of at his top. Actually, no, they're just gonna roll in and kill Nursey. Everybody backed up and just left Nursey hanging there in lobby. A big positional blunder for Ascent, but Yite now is behind. I don't think. Well, he is detected. So they're gonna push on mid anyways with that story going on in the back lines.
Yeah, they're just going to stack this point, and unless Phelps can block it with a miracle play, that's not going to happen. They will be able to beat out Yite to cap that point off, so the back cap is not a real threat. Of course, that player in the back line still is, and Marmalou hiding as well, puts 2 Ascent players in behind. Marmalou collapses in, finds the kill onto Rakuso, but not going to be able to take down the scout as well. Gets him a little bit weak. If Yite can capitalize off of that, he'll be able to at least trade as he runs through the back line's enemy, but taking a whole lot of damage, and this isn't going well for him at all. Or in Shamu, double team him. Finally, there's only 3 players left alive on the side of Ascent. They're going to get up at least 2 respawns before this push comes in, but with 100% overcharge from Sky, Velocity are not taking their time at all, getting aggressive onto Happy Cool. Nice rocket from Rakuso to be able to shut that down early. Speedy got the kill onto that one. Now Marmalou trying to block this point as well, but the scouts from Velocity doing a great job picking these targets who they want to take down, but Nursey popping a overcharge off is going to stall this push. If Velocity can keep their players alive, this might still be winnable for them. They throw Rakuso onto the point. Jarrett with such little HP loses to Yite. And it all fell down for them at the end as soon as Nursey got her Uber charge.
Well, I don't mean to put Sky on blast, but there was Ubering of a scout that was standing on the point there, and if you look at how close the point is to being capped, it probably would have gone. So, tip for the medic players out there, screw that scout, like, let him die. He's putting time on the point. Because you don't need a whole lot of cap time to win the round. Most maps, it's like 2.5 seconds and you win.
Yeah, it's generally pretty generous on how it wants to give you that last point. Boar's up on Sniper, though, and he's already hit 1 headshot onto aim. Again, not enough to kill. But with even Uber charges, he will have a few more opportunities. And again, I said this last time he came up on Sniper, he's hit a lot of shots, right? He hits these headshots onto soldier players and stuff, but it's never been anything super game opening. And again, takes a peek there, but chooses just to back off, because at that point, it's basically stand to the spam and die because you're not going to hit that miracle shot, even if you're Boar, or just back off and try to hit another shot into a player who peeks you when they shouldn't.
Yeah, Boar's style of sniping really relies on that. There are a lot of players who are much worse snipers than Boar who would have more success in this scenario, just because they sort of patiently approach an angle. But some of it is a punishment of this map, is you just don't have great angles. And you have to rely on basically your twitch reflexes to try and get your shot off.
Although this is a really aggressive angle.
Yeah, Boar goes in about as deep as you can. It doesn't get anything.
It's always fun when we see those plays almost come to fruition, but here comes Sky popping the Uber charge off onto Speedy. Nursey does pop in kind. It's kind of just a do-nothing Uber charge. They're going to look at each other. They're going to look for some targets, but 2 solo Ubers not going to combine into anything. Here comes a bomb from Rakuso, getting aggressive on some Marmalou maybe, but again, just forcing people back. Nobody goes down in the midst of that. That is too important. So again, we just sort of stay back to where we were. Jarrett up in the lobby trying to get some sticky traps down and managed to do so, but pretty much it's just these 2 heads that beat each other back and forth, and nobody makes any ground.
Well, at least we didn't see a bus park. So
yeah,
the air brake didn't get put on. We are seeing some motion out of Ascent, which is surprising. But I guess, I mean, they have 2 rounds to give, so who cares? You think you got to pick, you may as well go for it. But I think we're going to see a stabilization here, and Velocity are going to run some kind of a play here. They're really coming down the left side strong. The bomb comes in. Is there anything more than that? No, it's just a single bomb, at least that I can see right now. There is a counter sack comes in, and they're pushing hard under. Well-orchestrated play here. And they're getting a lot of damage out. I don't know if they're going to really realize that. And actually, they're going to go for the solo Uber. Here it is. Can a solo Uber do stuff? They're trying. The scouts are coming in now. They're going to wrap the left side. But no, they lose their cool, even though they had a much better Uber.
It seems like every single fight in this match is this long, drawn out, just sort of everybody not getting too aggressive, and when they do get aggressive, like a soldier bombing in, they are getting punished the large majority of the time. And it's just defensively, both these teams are too strong, and you know, that means that things aren't really moving as quickly as they sometimes do. So we're still in the same situation that we have been for the past 4 minutes now. Velocity sitting on this middle point that Ascent over on their own. Ubercharge is about to get back to 100. Now, I will give credit to teams in this way. Once they get to 100, they have been using it. It hasn't been doing anything. As soon as they take these Ubercharge fights, nothing happens from those fights. But at least they're popping the Ubercharge and attempting to make something move.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's bus parking. Part of it is this map. This map is really hard to push out of lobby with. And so you really only have one viable way to push. And so if you can't get it going in alley, then it's just not going to happen. And so we're watching teams go Valley again and again and again, because that's really the only good way to push. Because if you go lobby, if your medic gets thrown off that bridge, you're going to lose the round.
Now we see with
scary.
with one sack in and Jarrett going down, though, this is actually looking even more scary for Velocity. They have to pop the Uber charge off in lobby. It's another solo Uber onto Speedy. Speedy uses to try to get in behind, and Sky's still just trying to get out. She's healing Shamu at the moment, but she is going to get punished for that. Yite takes her down, and Shamu also cleaned up by Happy. Well, Nursey trying to stay alive, dodging these air shots. She's going to stay alive for the whole fight, as is the entire rest of her team. Now Jarrett, is he going to go for a miracle play here, Marxist? He's going to surf it in, kill himself.
Yeah, he tried. He gets a raffle. Jarrett Christ from Phelps. But, and he just types, "Welp. You're all really hurt at least." Until you get arrowed. Oh, isn't that the truth? The Bro King from Marmaloo. Yeah, that play is fine if the other team doesn't have a medic. But, especially in this crossbow era, but even in other eras, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. It just buffs your damage stat, and that's that.
At this point, I mean, I think they're just trying anything they can. 50% disad as a center pushing into last. This point should be all, but there's Speedy already down as this push is coming in. AIM getting a lot of aggression in onto Sky. We'll be able to find that with the help of Yite. And that's the only one player down so far. They've traded 1-for-1 as AIM did have to die for that. And with Nursey, her other heal target getting cleaned up as well. A nice surf, but not going to be nice enough. Pistol down by Shamu. A lot of hectic fighting going back and forth. It's going to be coming down to Yite, the last player left alive, but Rakuso with a nice rocket to finish him off.
Yeah, both medics fall, and that Sky is going to have a significant Uber advantage here, probably in the order of 20% or more. It just depends. Yeah, Nursey's not going to get to building straight away. And it's on the regular Uber gun, so Velocity are going to march out here. They do have the opportunity because Ascent are flanking them. They're pushing that way that I said you pretty much have to go through the alley. Players are very hurt. They end up with their roamer hanging out in the wind. They're getting flanked now as well. Jarrett takes a ton of damage but survives, and that allows them to collapse. But no! AIM! AIM drops one rocket and gets 3 kills. And, well, that's pretty much as good as it can get. But then, everybody goes down, and it's a 1v1 for Phelps, who's going to defeat Boar and take this point back. We'll see. The pharmacy here is coming. And, I don't think he's going to be able to stop this. He's too scared of a scout. Jarrett will come out to help, and they will run from that. So we're just going to see this point trade again.
Yep, that's going to be the case, but at least Velocity are no longer sitting back on their last. I think that was the first time they've successfully defended, at least for long. And they've actually managed to push out onto the second point, so props to them for that. Aim going for another big bomb out here, but it looks to be just like a distraction. He gets back to his team, who have all pushed in through lower, and they're all flanking back behind. This is a ballsy play, coming in, trying to wrap around on Velocity. They've already gotten 2 kills. Velocity, Speedy, and Boar both getting taken down, but they lose both their soldiers now. Jarrett gonna trade for that. Skye with the Ubersaw trying to get at least one. She's chasing after Nursey. Not gonna happen. There goes the Crusaders crossbow, taking her down, and the big bomb in by Rakuso, trying to get anything he can, but he's missing all these rockets. Not gonna work out. Shamu in a 1v3 against 2 buff scouts. Again, not happening for him, and a lot of chaos, but somehow Ascent out on top.
Yeah, and Nursey even goes for the kill. They are here on last. They're pushing the 7th player is not going to be able to build up. Are they going to Uber their scouts to a defeat, though? We shall see. Now the soldiers are here. They have more players showing up, 2 soldiers and a scout. The scout goes onto the point and dies. So does the soldier, and they're swarming it. And that will give Ascent their 4th point of the night.
You know what? I've seen Velocity win a 5-4 comeback before. That was against maybe a lesser team in the form of 8K last season. But it was also in the last week of the season. It was also week 9. And it was also a match that determined certain playoff seedings. So maybe Velocity can give themselves a pep talk as they did last time and come out on top. But losing Jarrett early is not going to be how you start that Speedy low as well. Rakuso in the back line's trying to find Nursey and got so much damage. She's on 5 HP, but it's not going to matter. Skye, the last player left alive, running back to last. She'll be able to survive, but if you want to make a hero comeback, that's not a great start.
Yeah. Nursey, you could actually see if you... I doubt we had a POV for Nursey in that scenario when she got knocked down to like 5 to 8 health. Actually waggling the mouse in frustration because nobody was with Nursey to build. And because Skye was running away with no one to heal, they ought to have huge Uber advantage here, but they don't. And there it goes. So, and that's all because nobody on Ascent had the presence of mind to stick with Nursey, and then Nursey doesn't get out. So almost as if they're punishing the team.
Saying, nobody's going to stick with me so I can heal you. All right, we're going to throw so that the enemy team can come in. No. But Velocity are here, and they're about to take the second point off. Secret Trap gets dead, nothing coming of it. Aim very low, finally does get taken down. That was a little bit dangerous, but with Zayler going down as well. One more soldier in the back lines. That's Marmaloo, finds nothing at all. Yite finds nothing at all. All right, Velocity, that's how you start things off. 60% from Skye, 20 on Nursey, and only Happy Cool to keep her safe. So they're going to come into this middle point for sure. They already got second, and they're going to look to take the enemy team second as well. And this is a good opportunity for Velocity to get around the board.
Yeah, with 2 players down, they're not going to deny their forward spawns, however, so they're all here. They are rolling down that alley, though, as is usual to do. Speedy bombing in. He's okay for a second, then gets beat up, but Boar is going to die. Gotta get an arrow. No, they're going to lose another player. They cannot win this fight anymore. At least I don't think they can, but they're going to pop Uber and then lose Shamu. So this is getting ugly, but Jarrett gets more frags at least. So there's one, but now it's Jarrett versus the world, and he's not going to be able to do it. Skye does, however, make the great escape. Not that it matters, because there's no one to escape with. So Nursey's just going to have full Uber, and they're going to cap this mid and then push 2.
I'm not going to say that percentage-wise, Yite has been super successful when he flanks, but he's been flanking so often that he's bound to get some good ones every now and again. And he went with Marmaloo that last fight and really started things off for Ascent in a fight they probably should not have won. They've now been able to turn a situation where they're pushing on the enemy team second, and they've got full Uber charge. They have popped it, and this is a little bit dangerous for Velocity, but they've managed to get a whole lot of players out, so this is actually pretty alright for them. They traded 1-for-1 Zayler for Speedy, and that favors Velocity a little bit, but of course, since they're back on last, they're probably just going to wait until Skye gets full Uber charge before they push back out anyways. And despite the fact that Skye has such large Uber charge advantage, they got to be careful that no more backcaps happen.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, Velocity really, and being 4 down, you don't wanna push out because that may just end the game. But
Mm-hmm.
you have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
You're backed against the wall, so you've got to try this. And unfortunately, they've used most of their best strats as the Uber comes out a double soldier bomb. They are all over the point. Now it's just a matter of holding Ascent out, but they're not capping this fast enough. And that's going to be a problem because Ascent rotates around. They kill Jarrett. Yeah, and then they pop their Uber, trying to drive the knife in, and they are on last. There's nobody there. It's just Sky, and that is it. That's a 5-0. So yeah, unfortunately, Velocity, they had a lot of trouble capping second. Not just because it's really hard, but there was just like they kind of had disagreements about who should cap the point or like what should be going on during those, and that really hurt them in this game. A very methodical game, though it was.
A 5-0 victory for Ascent. There hasn't been that much of a domination between these two teams since the playoffs of Season 24. So I was expecting at least a round for Velocity. I mean, the precedent is that they can contend with a team like Ascent, but I don't know what was happening tonight. They really weren't on their game, and it just went so slow, and it seemed like Ascent were always coming out on top. 5-0, I mean, you mentioned the deaths before when we looked at this, and at least now there are more players on Ascent above 5. In fact, they're all above 5, but that doesn't say a lot considering we played a whole second half. Nursey's still sitting at only 7 deaths next to Sky's 12, and even Happy Cool. Why is Happy Cool got so few deaths? 8 deaths for a scout. Usually, if you're looking at the second fewest deaths, it's going to be on the down man, but Zayler's sitting up with a nice 12, and interesting play style from Happy Cool. People sitting with 8 deaths.
Well, all right. So the next highest deaths from, like, we've got Happy Cool dying almost as little as the medic.
Yeah.
Then you've got Yite and Aim at 17. That's acceptable.
Okay.
Zayler at 12, and then you have Marmaloo at 31, more than any other player in the server. So I have a feeling that he might be getting baited quite a bit.
It all makes sense now.
Now, I don't know for sure, but it really feels like there's a lot of debating going on there.
Oh, poor Marmaloo. I mean, he still seemed, if you ignore the death stat, he still seemed to pull his weight. You know, 254 DPM. Exactly. He did pretty well in terms of damage, and even kills 25. That's tied for second most on his team. So, I mean, maybe it works. If he's spending 3/4 of the game on the respawn timer, it doesn't really matter if your next quarter of the game is entirely just getting kills and damage, right?
Yep. However, top damage in the whole server was Speedy, actually another soldier player. So it was their night, I guess, for a slower style Metalworks.
Yeah, I guess it was. And when you look at kills, it's kind of pretty even across the board. 19, 21, 20, 19 in terms of velocity. And then Jarrett's dipping a little bit low, but I think that's kind of his playstyle. He's definitely more of a do damage and not get as many kills. Usually not die as much either. And I guess in the context of his team, he didn't die as much, only getting 19. But yeah, every other player except for Sky and Jarrett on velocity are above 20 deaths. So I don't know. Maybe Marmaloo's not looking quite as bad in that retrospect, but yeah, it's not looking great in terms of velocity stats. And that's what you always see from a 5-0, right? We always say there's not a whole lot you can take out of these stats just because it's always so lopsided.
Yeah, there's a reason it was a 5-0, and it comes through on the stats somewhat. But I'm still shocked at how many times Marmaloo had to die in order for his team to win.
That's pretty good.
So that is the ultimate roamer performance. And, well, I'm happy to see that that's still the way things are done.
And if you're a Velocity supporter and you're very upset about this, don't worry, because regardless of how this match went, these two teams are going to face each other in the first round of the playoffs. Our playoff teams, I think, are pretty much decided. I think at this point it is mathematically decided. I know like a week ago there was some possibility where if Mentality Esports beat like both Froyotech and Ascent, they could take the last spot or something like that. But that's not going to happen. Mentality Esports lost 5-0 to Froyotech. So our playoff spots going into Season 28's playoffs are going to be Froyotech in first, Ascent in second, Velocity in third, and New Godflow in fourth. That means Froyotech, New Godflow, and Ascent versus Velocity will be your 2 first-round matchups. Again, we don't know the exact playoff structure, but I can't imagine that the 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 standard will change. So we will get to see this match again. I imagine Velocity are going to be banning this map because, oh boy, did they get rolled and played with on it. So hopefully we'll see some new maps in the best of 3. But until then,
there's so many to choose from other than Metalworks.
just choose something else. It's not that bad. I think that's it though for us though, Marxist. We got no events coming up on the TFTV schedule, but ESEA playoffs are coming soon. ETF12 Nations Cup I haven't been following, but we've been doing a lot of coverage on Team Fortress TV for that. So if you're into watching European countries battle each other, go check out that as the events pop up on teamfortress.tv. My name is Cornpop. Marxist, thank you so much for casting with me, and shout out to Drshdwpuppet in the chat, doing a great job on production. He's come back to it for the first time in a long time. He's been casting this season, but coming back, still getting the kinks out maybe, but he did a great job. So thanks everybody. Thanks to you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the playoffs next time.